He says, very simple, the same Rabbi that taught me, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, that's the same Rabbi that taught me, Kedoshim Tihi Ki Kodesh Ani Hashem. At 6 o'clock at night, when we went home after yeshiva, and it was dark outside, winter, he closed the lights and he molested me. So I saw that the Rabbi doesn't believe in Kedoshim Tihi, so why should I believe him in the other half that he's teaching me? They become so down the tubes because they're so confused and so mixed up that it's unbelievable. Abuse is not a smack in the face. A smack in the face will heal in a day or two. Abuse stays for the rest of your life, and all the teachings mix up the child. Now, in the beginning when I spoke about it, everybody said, no, it doesn't happen, it's a lie, it never happened in our community. Now, finally, thank God, they're listening already. It's happening in our community, and they're admitting it already. The only thing is now we have stage number 2, and this is a war it's unbelievable. What they're doing is they're taking the parents of the victims and they're going over to them and telling them, if you're going to continue going, we're going to throw out your children, we're going to do everything possible to get rid of you. And I want to share a small story with you, and he's going to say now 5 minutes, I'm giving away my 5 minutes, he should be able to talk. I was now in Munchen, Canada. It's next to Fredericton, which is the capital of New Brunswick. And I'm doing a mikveh for a community over there. And I get a call from this father, which I coach him the whole time. He should go forward. He shouldn't be afraid. His son was molested in a mikveh 2 years. The one that molested him told him that if you're going to tell anything to mommy or daddy in this mikveh, I will drown you. And he was ready to drown him. So he molested him. He did every kind of molesting that I wouldn't even say on the mic. And then after 2 years, the boy went off his mind. He went crazy. He did wild things. So I told him, take him right away to Mrs. Mermelstein in Beth Israel Hospital. He goes down there. She evaluates him. He writes a letter. He will read to you the letter, what that person that molested him taught him. It's unbelievable. So I'm sitting in Munchen, Canada, and I get a call Thursday morning. And he says to me, Rabbi, I have a problem. Maybe you can come with me to the doctor. I said, what kind of doctor? He says, listen what the community did. The community said to my son's doctor that the father is crazy. He's not a normal person. Don't believe a word he's saying. Take him in for evaluation. So he says to me, how can I go down for evaluation? He says, don't be afraid. Go. Don't worry. I'm not in New York, but go. He goes down for evaluation. And the doctor, he says to the doctor, listen, my son was molested. He's losing his mind. And I came forward, and they're threatening me, they're threatening my wife, they're threatening my father has a shul in Borough Park, they're threatening him that if your son goes forward, we're going to close you down. He says, what can I do? It's my son, I'm responsible for him. So all of a sudden, the psychiatrist gave a burst out, oi! So the next psychiatrist sitting in the next room in Beth Israel Hospital thought that he smacked him up, that the client smacked up the doctor. So he comes running in and he says, what happened to you? He says, nothing. I want you to listen to the story. And he's listening to the story where the father is crying, I have to do for my child, and they're threatening me day and night. And it's unbelievable. So the doctor comes in and he listens to the story. And this is what these survivors have to go through, and it's unbelievable. They're threatening people for no good reason. They want to take them off the map and things like that. And there's no way that these people have the courage to come forward. Now, Charles Hines is aware of this, that's the DA. I told him what's going on. He didn't believe it in the beginning. Now he's starting to believe. They take such a father and they declare him. Not only that, the father called me up that the doctor had a deal with him that he finds him not suitable to go home. He's going to keep him in the hospital. He's not even going to release the father from the hospital, and he was afraid that he's going to be hospitalized. This is unbelievable. He will share the story very briefly. I will have him come up here in a few minutes. Now, the fact that we are together here and we're working together, I want you to know this is a message for the whole world. Pedophiles, if you can't keep your hands to yourself, you're going to pay the price. I was sitting in court last week. There was a person who molested 2 children, and he took them on video. And I was sitting in court. The father came flying in from Israel. He sent his son to the grandfather, and he was molested. I took along Mr. Mark Appel and the whole the news and everybody. So we come into court, and the man comes over to me and says, I came from Israel because I have to protect my child. I'm here alone. I don't know. I sent, his grandfather lives here. Rabbi Rosenberg, I'm so happy to see you. He says to me, on Gan Eden, I don't think I'll sit next to you because the job you're doing. But I want to tell you something. I didn't know that I'll be able to sit in this world next to you. You're the person that is doing something. And he starts to cry to me and he says, what should I do? I sent my son to my father, which means to the son's grandfather, for Shavuos for 4 days, and he was raped, molested, and on the video, the man took it on the video. And the judge told the man, he says, if I plead guilty, how much would you give me? He said, 70 years, not a day less. And Mark was there to witness it all. Do you know how much help these people need? They need somebody to know that we're getting together and we're doing something about these things. This meeting in Borough Park couldn't have happened 2 years ago. This is for sure. Only because now the time is right. Now, okay. Now, I would like to, all the Rabbonim ask different questions. What is really happening? Why? Who's responsible? I want to give you a deep thought of my experience, who is really responsible. The Rabbonim are responsible for this, and there are 3 reasons why they hid all these things. Number 1 is ego. Ego means they weren't going to come out and say, listen, 50 years we couldn't do anything. The reason why they didn't do anything is because they didn't have the knowledge to do it. But if they didn't have the knowledge, they should have gone to psychologists or psychiatrists and learned rabbis who know how to do it. If you didn't have the knowledge, say I give up. Go to somebody that knows what they're doing. So the ego is one thing. They all keep on saying, Rabbi Rosenberg, he came from left field. We don't even know who he is. He's not a rabbi. He's nobody. He does mikvahs for Klal Yisrael. What does he know about pedophiles? The answer is I don't know. What I know is that I have an ear that's open for everybody to talk into it. That's all I know. That's number 1. Number 2 is unfortunately money. There's millions of dollars behind these pedophiles. If somebody does something wrong, he goes over to the rabbi, protect me. And he figures a lawyer is $100,000, I'll give you 50,000 grand. With a lawyer, he doesn't know where he's going to fall out to. And the rabbi is going to threaten the parents of the child. They know they're free. This is the very important thing. It's money. The third thing is, some of these rabbis happen to be pedophiles themselves. Some of these rabbis... I have a rabbi who paskins shilas for noshim. He paskins shilas for women. And he had an affair with the woman. She never went back to her husband because she was, she was mixed up. She had a child from the rabbi. And I beg her, come and we will take a DNA test. And the other rabbi said, don't do it because then it's going to be a vada mamzer and you won't be able to marry a Jewish child. We have rabbis that try to get to women. They called up the other rabbis that we're being threatened, we're being forced and harassed. We have rabbis that don't keep, they're not doing appropriately the way a rabbi should be doing. And sometimes they're not the ones, but their children are the ones. And because of it, they have to make sure that everything is kept under the floor. Now I'm going to tell you another thing. I went to Israel. And I did in Israel that they should make all the places circuit televisions. We have it here in the United States also now. And I just got a call from Antwerp that a girl, a Goyish girl, non-Jew, was raped on the street. And this is on the street where Vishnitz has the circuit television. So the Goyim, the police came to Vishnitz and asked, maybe you would give us the tape of what happened Saturday morning. And they said, by all means. And on Monday, they arrested the Goy because they saw clearly, who he is and everything. So this could have been for a Jewish girl also. And if he would have been successful, they wouldn't have caught him with the Goya. Then he would have tried it on the Jewish girl. So they called me up from Antwerp. Nochum, if you come here, you're the chief rabbi. It's working now to a point where people understand what's happening. So now, my message is to everybody. United we stand, divided we fall. I thank everybody, and we should be successful.